Good morning, everybody. I'm just saying good morning because there's no one else here to say good afternoon. So Lindsay is not feeling well today, sadly. Hopefully she's taking a good nap right now. That would be the best. But you're stuck with just me today unless she pops in at some point. I see there's some people in the chat already. Pam is here. Good morning. And Mary and Chris is here listening while moving stuff from one desk to another. What a fun job. Joanne is here. Good morning. All right. Well, I'm used to having, someone to bounce things off of, and we you go into all kinds of different conversations, like wherever the conversations lead us. But I don't have that this morning. So you guys need to keep me going with some questions. Dustin is here. Good morning. Good afternoon, Dustin. Good morning, Blaze. Blaze is here. Haley, hello. Oh, Dustin, you're on your way to Walmart. Exciting times. I don't make it to Walmart very much these days. There's not one terribly close to us. And I'm like, if I can avoid Walmart, I prefer it. Patty is here. Sing It is here. Hello. Michelle is here. Good morning. So definitely let me know if you guys have any questions. And we can chat about whatever. I put out a video yesterday that was a little bit heavy, and I had a lot of comments and questions on that video. So if anybody has questions about that specifically, let me know and we can chat about that. Sing It says, what is in the chat cup? So it's not coffee. Maybe that's why, things are off today, because I decided not to have coffee. I actually just had coffee. I had decaf coffee this morning and I just finished it, and I didn't want to make another cup for the live stream. So this is warm energized reds. That's from Jonathan Shane. His I think it's a recovery formula, and it is so good. It's so good. And I found that my favorite way to have it is hot. So that's what I'm sipping on. Dustin's over there living the rock star lifestyle. Yes, absolutely. 30-ounce Bucky's cup full of coffee. Now that's the way to do it. Yeah, it was so fun when we went to Texas, Jeff and I, in May last year for KetoCon. He had never been to a Bucky's before, so I got to introduce him to the glory that is Bucky's. that was quite the experience. So this morning, I kind of had to rush to get here on time because I was getting Renee ready. She's going up to the mountain with Jeff this morning. So Jeff is working. He has a job up in government camp, which is right on Mount Hood, and it's like a whole house build. So he's been working on it for months and months. Anyways, they just got I don't know how many feet of snow in the last few days. And he had to go up and deliver some stuff up there. And so he said he could take a kid, and Renee wanted to go because Renee loves snow more than anything. She said today that it's her favorite weather is snow. And so we were working on getting her all bundled up and ready to play in the snow. Like ever since she was little, whenever there's snow, which is not very often around here, but whenever there's snow, she is out playing in the snow for hours and hours, like to the point where I'm constantly having to check on her and see if she's okay, because she's just out there and she'll play by herself. Like the other kids will, get cold and come in, and she's out there playing for hours. So she was so excited to get to go up to the mountain with Dad and have a fun snow adventure. So that's what I was doing this morning. Ooh, Doug says that Bucky's finally has a sugar-free jerky. That's exciting. Their wall of jerky is quite magnificent. But I remember when I was there looking at all the different options and being like, nope. It all has, junk in it. So that's cool that they have added a sugar-free option. Let's see. Linda's here. Good morning from Arizona. Snow on the mountains, which is rare but beautiful. Yeah, I bet. So speaking of Renee, um, Renee is my how old is she now? She's 8. She'll be 9 this year. And she has glasses and she has had glasses since she was like 2.5. Um, she I did a lot of videos about this early on. We were going through vision therapy originally, but she has something called alternating esotropia, where her eyes want to turn in and they kind of take turns, and her brain has trouble using both eyes at the same time. And so we've gone through all kinds of different things trying to, help her. And the thing that has been the thing that has helped is vision therapy. So we went through a lot of vision therapy when she was younger, and then we kind of got to a point where we had made progress, but she was still too young to really like make certain connections and communicate, you know, the different things that they do in vision therapy. So we were on hold for a couple years, maybe 3 or 4 years even. And just about 4 months ago, we started up again because she's gotten older, she's more mature, she's able to communicate, the different things going on that she's seeing and stuff like that. So it was kind of a let's see how this goes. Like, let's do a session, a few month session of vision therapy and kind of see where we get to. And because basically her brain needs to make a pretty big leap, where it's used to working a certain way and it needs to work a different way. And it's like sometimes the brain can really be ready to make that jump, and then other times it's like really resistant. And so it's kind of like we're going to try this and see what happens. So that was 4 months ago. So we've been working on that. I did a couple videos showing a little bit about the different things that she does for vision therapy. But we did our 4 months of that, and she just went in for her progress exam a couple of days ago. And the doctor was so floored with the progress that she made. Like, I was watching her do the different tests and stuff that they do and the checks and everything. And I was watching her, like, ask Renee a question and then, like, hear the answer and then not really know what to do with it because she's made so much progress. Um, the doctor said that her brain, it knows what it needs to do. Like, there's still a lot of work to get the alignment right. She kinda showed me how far Renee has to pull her eyes, to get what they call fusion, where both eyes are working together. But the big jump that we needed to make, she made. And so, like, I was, like, trying to hold back tears, like, the doctor was just gushing over how incredible, like, the incredible progress that she's made. And, like, uh, for me, like, being on this journey with her from since she was, earlier than 2, I think she was, like, 18 months, the first doctor we took her to. And, like, how hard she has worked with this vision therapy. And it melted my heart, and I'm just so proud of that girl. She's amazing. Anyways, so that's my proud mom moment there. Um uh let's see. Yeah, Doug, I know that a lot of, like, I mean, with so many different disabilities or ways that, people struggle, it's always I mean, I'm glad that we've made the progress we have, where there's a little bit more acceptance and help and kindness. Not that it doesn't still happen, but anyways, let's see. Oh, Sing It is asking, will a rebounder help with vision at home? Yeah, so I've thought about getting a rebounder or just a trampoline. They actually have a rebounder at the vision therapy office, and there's different exercises that she does there with the rebounder. So they'll, have like something on the board with letters to read off, and she'll bounce and have to read them off. And that's actually really good for um, for your eyes. So, yeah, and I've thought about getting one. I don't know that we have the right space for it right now. But definitely we wanna get a trampoline outside at some point when we can get the space, cleared and have it be nice. But it's really amazing what, uh like, the exercises that she's done in vision therapy. I was just so surprised at, like, how they're not you don't think they're related to vision. And it's because you're not just working with the eyes, you're working with the brain and the whole body, it's all connected. So, like, I remember when she was little, because with the esotropia where she's like it's the eyes aren't wanting to work together, so the brain says, "Okay, well, we'll just pick the easiest, the thing that makes the most sense." And so one eye will turn off and she'll just be seeing with the other eye because when they are together, it's like chaos and it doesn't make sense. So part of the vision therapy is teaching her brain to, have both sides of her body working together at the same time. So there was one time where she was doing a exercise where she'd put her hands out and the doctor or the therapist would put a piece of paper, like a post-it note in each hand, and she was supposed to crumple them both up at the same time and then try to, like, flatten them both out at the same time. And it's like, what does that have to do with eyes, right? But it's teaching her, 'cause and I'd watch her, she'd be, crumpling it up and you'd see, like, one hand start to kinda just stop and she's just focusing on doing the one and you're like, Don't forget, do the other one too." And so she'd have to, like, work on just using both sides of her body at the same time. Which is why, like, crawling and climbing and stuff like that is so good for kids, as they're developing, because you're having to use both sides of your body. It's been fascinating to learn all of the stuff that we've had to learn over the years with, all of this, but it is amazing it's like, what does jumping on a trampoline have to do with your eyes? Like, that's crazy, but when you think about it, it really does make sense, and everything is so connected. Doug says, "Still can't see stereo pictures." Yeah, Renee, she can't see those. I remember, at first, every time she'd have a progress exam, they'd pull out these pictures. It's like a fly that's supposed to be 3D when you have the right glasses on, and she never saw them. Never saw them. One day, hopefully, she will. But like the doctor said that in the progress exam the other day, for the first time, she had fusion. Fusion and stereo. I think stereo and fusion are the same things. And so the doctor was able to do certain measurements that she'd never been able to do before because Renee's eyes just didn't do it. The where they split the image and then they ask you, like, does it line up this way? Does it line up this way? Renee had never been able to do that before, and she was able to do it at this appointment, and they were able to, do all those measurements and stuff. So it was really, really encouraging. It's like all that work that girl has put in. It's amazing. Um, yeah, so I think so it's like it's interesting, like, there's natural development, and as you get older, things should improve in certain ways, but then at the same time, it's like when she was little, we were at the point where if she just kept turning off the eye because it didn't make sense, the 2 working together, eventually that eye, it degrades or whatever, and so, like, damage can be done if you don't work on continuing, improving, and so that was what we were doing in the beginning with her when she was so young, is trying to make sure that we paved the way for her to continue to develop, in the right way, and so we worked really hard, like, a lot of stretching because there was one eye in particular that was really the muscles were really tight, and so, like, just keeping it from going in, all of that stuff, and so I think, doing all that vision therapy when she was little really helped, like, pave the way for her to continue to develop in a healthy way. So, there you go. Um Okay, Cynthia says, "I know what she's going through. I had issues with my eyes when I was small, and one doc set my recovery back after I was told to wear an eye patch for 6." Oh my gosh. So, that it was really hard, in the beginning, because, well, first of all, I took her to one of the biggest eye doctor college hospitals in the country, and, they did all the tests. That was when she was 18 months old, so she was pretty little. They did all the tests, and they said she doesn't have a problem. It basically, just because of the skin folds around her eyes, it looks like that her eyes are crossing, but her face will continue to grow and develop, and it'll be fine. I was like, "Oh, great." Like, that's the best news I could have hoped for, like, she's fine. But as time went on, it was obvious that there was more than that, and so we took her to another doctor, just a regular conventional ophthalmologist, and, he prescribed her glasses, first of all, and then he prescribed, patching. So, we did our patching exercises every day, and, he said, "We'll do this patching for," I don't remember if it's 3 months or something like that, "and then come back, and if it doesn't help, then we can do surgery," basically. And, like, I was not comfortable with that. I was not comfortable with, like, my two-year-old surgery on her eyes. Like, is that really where we're at with this? And I just didn't have peace about it at all. And, we came back 3 months later. He's like, "No, no progress, so let's think about doing the surgery." And we're like, "Okay, we'll let you know." And both my husband and I were just not at peace about it. And I was doing, all kinds of researching and Googling and trying to just see, is this the only option? Like, is every ophthalmologist just going to tell us the same thing? And I ended up finding um, developmental ophthalmologists. It's a different kind of ophthalmologist that, instead of just looking at the eyes, they look at the brain and the whole body. And the vision therapy is a big part of that. And um, it's so interesting because vision therapy still is seen as, like, quack science. Like, there's no research behind it, and it's just they're those people that do vision therapy, they're just trying to steal your money. It's all, fake. It's all snake oil, which that is very common with more natural forms of care. The conventional world can really look down on that. It's also frustrating because vision therapy is not covered by insurance, because it is not accepted by the conventional wisdom. And so, like, having to sort through all of that. But when we went to see this doctor for the first time, when she was about 2.5, I just remember, like, the relief for me, feeling so at peace with what she was saying. Like, she was listening to us. She was, like, wanting to work with Renee to you know, help her brain function in the right way. It wasn't just like, "No, we'll just cut the muscles and move it around and it'll be, yeah, that's fine." But I just remember going out of that appointment just with such relief after having so much angst about everything I was being told by the other doctors. Anyways, it was yeah, that was like the turn, and so, like, I've been all in with the vision therapy side of it since then, and, like, I'm just so thankful that there was that other option. Like, because before it's like, I don't know, like, I'm not an ophthalmologist. And so anyways, it's hard when you're, you know, dealing with your own health issues, as well as, trying to take care of your child as best you can, and it's like, "This doesn't feel right, what you're telling me, but you're the doctor, you're the one that went to medical school, like, who am I to go against, that?" But there really are other options out there, and I'm thankful that those options are becoming more readily available and more popular. It's, yeah, it's a hard road to walk with all of that. no matter what health issue you have really, like, there's so many schools of thought, and there's so many people that think they that they know the answer, and if anyone questions it, they're just crazy. Like, the amount of finger pointing and saying, "If you don't believe this or that, you're just crazy." It's like, "Come on. Come on. Can we have a civilized conversation about this? How are we ever supposed to move forward if we don't challenge the status quo and get better? If we just finger point and say the other side is just crazy, like, we're never gonna get anywhere." Okay. Let's go back into the chat. Barbara says, "What's your next food to dehydrate?" Loved the bacon, like the bacon jerky. Yeah, that's so good. So I don't have any plans for dehydrating. So Talia, my 12-year-old, has been making granola. She got into making granola and she likes to put in dried blueberries, and they're expensive, obviously, and I have blueberries in the freezer, from picking, in the summer, and I was like, "Could I just throw those frozen blueberries in the dehydrator, and would they work, or would it just like a puddle of juice that gets all sticky?" So, I haven't tried it yet, but I may try that and see if I can dehydrate some blueberries. Let's see. Thank you for sharing your journey with the ferritin levels and metabolic changes. A lot to learn. Yeah, man, I would like to get that figured out. So as far as like the ferritin stuff and my frustration with it, like I feel like because I like I got comments from on my video yesterday about you need to go see a doctor. And I'm like, I have gone to see a doctor, like, I've seen plenty of doctors, I've talked to plenty of doctors about these issues, and I have tried everything they've told me, and it's not worked. It's not been the thing. So, like, with that, it's like went through everything the doctor told me to do, and I felt like I kinda got to the end of what the doctor had to offer, and it was like it got to the point where I was like, well, if because my doctor is fantastic, she's wonderful, but she's not an expert in iron and ferritin, and she's just gonna go do some research to try to give me an idea of what to try, and it's like, I could do that myself, like, I can do the research myself, um, and so I was just like, it's not worth continually going back when all I get from the doctor is, iron infusions, iron supplementation, ways to enhance iron absorption. Like I've done that. I did that for an entire year and it didn't make a difference. And so it's like, now where do I turn? And so like with Renee, it's like we were struggling with the conventional wisdom and we found, an alternative that ended up being just the right thing for her. And it's like I'm still trying to figure that out with my iron stuff. Like it's frustrating, but I'm hopeful that I'm making progress. Yeah, time will tell. Um yes. A trampoline therapy is the best. No, a trampoline would not fit in her room. We have 3 girls in 1 room, and, the room they're in now, it wouldn't fit in, and they're actually moving to a smaller room here pretty soon, so it would not even fit in their room, sadly, but maybe in the basement. We just with 5 kids, the house fills up very fast, so we will have to see, but it would be really fun. Let's see. Bonnie says, "Great to be a proud mom. Renee received such positive feedback." Yes, success builds on success. Yeah, it was very, very encouraging. Okay, Lindsay is here. Lindsay is here, but just barely. Yeah, you take a nap, take it easy, get all better, and come back next week. Yeah. Oh yes. Renee is Lindsay's spirit animal. I know Lindsay loves the snow as well. Renee loves it. If you guys remember on the live streams I did leading up to Christmas, I had the kids on And one of the questions that I asked was, if you could choose either having Christmas in the snow or Christmas at the beach, which one would you choose? And Renee, without hesitation, chose snow. And I'm trying to remember if anybody else chose snow. I think it was kind of split. I think somebody else chose snow, but Renee, it was just like, no question. Definitely snow. Let's see. Oh, Doug says, I hope she has better luck at the driver's exam. Those binocular things from who knows when really messes with your head when you don't see in stereo. Oh, I bet. Well, I remember like having to look through those and being so nervous that I would get the wrong answer, like something would be messed up. Let's see. Ooh, a vibration plate. Very good for lymphatic drainage. Yeah, that is very cool. Lindsay's very into lymphatic drainage these days, with the rebounder and all of that. And I got Jeff a massager for his birthday, I guess it was. And it's similar to the one that we were talking about the one that Lindsay got for Jared. And we both agreed that it's got to be great for lymphatic drainage because it just vibrates and you could just vibrate the drainage. I don't know, make the drainage happen with the vibration. Let's see. Oh, yeah, sing it. Some doctors actually believe they are gods. Yeah. It takes courage to question them, but we're all healthier for it. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a god complex that does definitely happen. And then there are also like fantastic doctors out there that are just, very selfless and trying to just do the best for their patient. And it's hard because the system that is created around them makes it difficult for them uh to learn and grow and all that. It's like it's hard. The whole system is a mess. But when you find a good doctor, it's like hang on to them. It's amazing. Um, yes, doctors are trained to write prescriptions, and that is very true, and it's like oftentimes they don't have time with the patients to do anything else besides write a prescription. And then they don't have time to do research to find other options because it's like for me, I go into a doctor, I say my ferritin is low. Well, the prescription for that is iron supplementation. Like that's the only option. Like that's all there's time for. But clearly there's something else going on and it's like how many hours of research and trial and error is it going to take to figure that out? The doctors, they don't have the time for that. And I don't have the money for, all of the appointments and everything that's going to go into that. So it's just the system is a mess. Blaze asks, have you checked out oxalates and iron absorption? I have done research on oxalates. It's such a interesting um, field of study, I guess. And it's like the people that are really into oxalate issues, they can explain everything away with oxalates. Like you have a headache, it's oxalates. You have this, it's oxalates. You've got skin issues, it's oxalates. And it's like I do believe that oxalates and oxalate poisoning is an issue for people, but it's like trying to figure out what really is oxalates and what could be something else because there's so many different things that it could be that it's very tricky. So I feel like I went through an oxalate dump at one point in my life. I had crazy rash on my face and my arms and it was really intense. And I look back on that and I think that that probably was oxalate, but how do I know? I have no clue. Um so I've been through, times eating carnivore where obviously I'm not eating oxalates and it didn't fix my problems necessarily. So it's like, I don't know. I haven't seen anything in my history to think if I just were to, clear out oxalates, then it would fix XYZ. I have no idea. It's so crazy. Yes. I'm so glad you found the best care for Renee. Functional medicine is good for me. Yeah. Yeah, it would take a lot for me to go back to a conventional doctor. I mean, obviously, if I was in a car accident or something where I needed to be in the emergency room, super thankful for all the conventional doctors there. But just as far as like, "Hey doc, I have this issue. What do you suggest?" Like, I just can't do it. And, like my doctor is a naturopath and she's great. But I mean, there's limits to that as well. So, oh, it's difficult. Um, Chris says, "Well, if Lindsay is here, then I'm gonna leave." Yeah, Lindsay, don't spread your sickness around. Um, Miriam and Chris have been moving desks while listening. Excellent. That organization is no fun while you're doing it, at least for most people. But then when it's all done and everything's, in order and new and different, it's very nice. Um, um, Deb is wondering, did they give you an iron infusion? I have the same problem with iron, and also my white blood cell count is low, and infusions help. Okay. So over the past year and a half now, I've been dealing with this iron stuff and I have had multiple infusions. After I had the first one, so the first one was like a big one. And then, and so after that, like about 4 weeks after that, I felt so good. Like I felt amazing. And I was like, "This is it. This is what I needed. I'm better." But unfortunately, my iron just continued to drop after that, and the iron dropping so fast feels terrible. So all of the iron deficiency anemia symptoms just came rushing back. And so I was like, I need to get, more infusions to try to, keep myself propped up while I figure out like what's causing this. And so I went through a lot of months of getting some smaller iron infusions. So I'd get the infusion, it would bump my numbers back up, but then within 2 months, they would just be, wiped out again. And the roller coaster was terrible. It was awful. So the infusions helped in a certain way for me, but they didn't fix the problem, and, it was more like a Band-Aid, and, uh, whatever I have going on with the iron dropping, I have to figure that out. Just continually adding more iron on top of everything, I think is gonna do in the long run, do more damage than good, because iron is toxic to the body. Like that's well known. And we need some, but too much is very bad for us. And so getting it pumped into my veins every couple of months, I'm not comfortable with that. Like I need to figure out something else. And, so as far as the white blood cell count being low, I heard from some sources that that's a sign of copper deficiency. And I did find that when my white blood cell count was low as well. And I did find that copper supplementation raised that pretty quickly. And so that might be something to look into, just to see, because it we it's the conventional wisdom that we have where it's like, if you're low in something, just dump more of that in. And that works for a lot of things, but it doesn't work for everything. And for iron just doesn't work independently in the body. It needs other minerals to help it work well. And so a big one is copper and zinc and other minerals. And so if you're low on those, it can show up as low iron. And just dumping the iron on continually doesn't necessarily fix that problem. It's more like just a temporary band-aid. So, that's kind of the direction that I have gone in the last quite a few months, instead of just trying to figure out how I can supplement iron effectively, focusing on these other things that actually help you use iron more effectively and actually recycle the iron that's already in your body, because we eat a lot of foods that have iron. Everything is iron fortified. There's a lot of iron in our environment. But the interesting thing is, things like copper, there's not, because there's not a big push to supplement copper, the way there is with iron and zinc and some of the other ones. Um, it's and then on top of that, there's a lot of depletion in the soil for this kind of thing, and so we're getting less of it naturally, and no one's saying maybe you should supplement it, and so it just kind of gets forgotten, and we supplement tons of zinc and tons of vitamin C, and both of those things can deplete copper. And so there's all these different things that are kind of working together, perfect storm to make us copper deficient. And so at least that's the, what the thinking of some people. It, like I said, there's the conventional wisdom, and then there's all these different other ideas out there, and this is just one of them that, like, that I'm working with right now and trying to explore and see if that's going to be the answer for me. And I have some good clues that, like, I am onto something with it. Like, I've had really good results from doing it. I just kind of hit a bump in the road there where I, you know, because of different lifestyle things and, reducing the supplements I was taking, like, I'm hoping that I can rebound from that and that I still am on the right track, but time will tell on that one. Um, oh, Chris has to go carry boxes downstairs. That's no fun. Eclectic Cabin is here. Hello. Um, oh, that is a bummer. Says, sorry about your iron and ferritin. I know how frustrating it is. I've had liver issues for years, and every time I get labs, something else seems to be wrong. That is so frustrating. This time it's kidney function. Ah, it's so hard. It's so hard. Let's see. Sing It says, I used your breading on some fish in the air fryer. Oh, that sounds so good. Um, let's see. Do you have a favorite food or meat with the coating? So I have done halibut with it. It's so good. I think my favorite is probably just chicken tenders, though. They just taste like real chicken tenders, and it's it's kind of magical. The buttermilk fried chicken that I have done, I did the chicken and waffles video. That is amazing. It's so good. That one's I didn't do in the air fryer. I fried it in the pan, which I do think frying it, in bacon grease takes it up a notch. The air fryer is great and it's delicious. But if you can fry it in bacon grease, if you're really wanting to, like, take it to the next level, that is so good. And it tastes like fried chicken, like buttermilk fried chicken, and it is I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. Let's see. Sarah says osteopath doctors are the best to get both traditional and alternative approaches. Yeah, that's very interesting. My doctor is very much like that, where she will write a prescription if it's needed. Like, she knows about both, and she will, you know, pick and choose uh depending on the situation. So I do appreciate that, because I am very thankful for the advancements in medicine that we have seen. Like, I'm thankful for antibiotics. I'm thankful for all of these things. I think they save lives and are good for us in certain ways. But just like anything, like, too much of a good thing doesn't always necessarily mean it's a good thing. And so it's just finding that balance and trying to, go the least toxic, most natural route that you can. It's like, and sometimes that's not an option, but, if you can, instead of just throwing prescriptions at it, maybe try some, lifestyle stuff and natural stuff. Ivy is from New Zealand, 7:30 a.m. Thursday in New Zealand. Wow. Oh, very humid Interesting. Middle of summer. Oh, that sounds so nice right now. Let's see. Let's see. Sing it says, meaning to ask, 5 kids, clutter. Yes, it's a thing. Do you have rules like buy one thing, get rid of one thing? 2 of us and it's a challenge. Yeah. The stuff just multiplies. I we definitely have had times where it's like, usually it's after Christmas or right before Christmas where I'm like, there's going to be more toys coming in. Let's go through and get rid of some stuff. I so there's not a specific rule like if you get one thing you have to get something out, but we do periodically go through like clean out times where we get rid of stuff. And there'll be like times where I will we'll be headed to Goodwill to drop off stuff, and I'll be like, "Everyone go to your room and find 5 things that you're done with and you're ready to take to Goodwill." So we'll do that periodically. But it's a constant thing. It's something that you have to stay on top of. If you don't, it's like it grows and it takes over the house. I also have put a I've told the kids they're not allowed to buy stuffed animals. Like, it's very rare that I allow them to buy stuffed animals because there's so many. There's so many, and I'm like, "Where did all of these come from?" But of course, all of them are extremely special, and we can't possibly get rid of them. But I'm like, "No, we don't have room." And if they do get a stuffed animal, that's one where I'm like, "You have to get rid of 3 other stuffed animals if you wanna get this one." See, Carol says mold and Lyme are stealthy and often missed. Yeah. Yeah, those are ones that are tricky and there's not like a exactly these symptoms equal this disease a lot of times like that would make it nice. But especially when you're dealing with, mold, autoimmune stuff, like all of these stuff, it's so weird and the symptoms can be so bizarre and you could have the same symptoms on, 2 different people and they're from completely different reasons. And so that's why you have to find a doctor that's like willing to take time and work with you to figure stuff out and that I mean, it's hard. It's hard for them, it's hard for, the patients, it's just hard. Yeah, Deb says, "I'm taking bi-monthly infusions, and you're right, when it drops, it's a bummer. Tried the copper and zinc, but it didn't hold." Oh, that's a bummer. I feel your frustration. However, all of the prodding and poking, yeah, it's hard, and maybe we'll get it figured out one day. Let's see. Cheryl says, also dealing with issues with iron depletion, hair loss, etc. Frustrating trying to work through them and find something that works. I 100% agree. It's just, it's so hard because I'm like, I know how good I feel when my iron is in a good place. And I'm just like, how can I do it? How can I get there? And it's hard when you just feel powerless. Sing It says, "Bacon takes everything to the next level." That I 100% agree with. I have a recipe coming out, I think on Saturday, um, that is so I made those sausage balls a few weeks ago. I made another version of them, and it includes adding bacon, and, it took them up to the next level. They're so good. There's some in the fridge right now. I'll have to have them for lunch. Okay. Um Chris wants to know how everyone is doing today. Around here, we're doing pretty good. Renee is doing the best of everybody because she's going to play in the snow. And that's the best life. Ivy says stuffed animals breed. It is so true. I don't know how it happens. It's one of those Toy Story things where it's like they come alive at night. Um okay, so Chris is mentioning Dr. Linskis did a presentation here in Salt Lake regarding the problem he has had with mold. It would go away when he traveled, was his first clue. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mold is crazy and can do so many crazy things. And here in the Pacific Northwest, it's like everything molds. That's just a part of life. And so I like obviously we are aware, try to be aware of mold. And with Jeff being a contractor, he's very good at knowing, if things are moldy or not. He's done remediation for different issues that people have had. Anyways, so he has a pretty good handle on it. But then also my focus has been more like how do I just strengthen my body so that a little bit of mold exposure doesn't destroy me? Because it's like kind of two different areas that you could focus on, like focusing on just the environment and making sure that I'm always in a mold-free environment, or focusing on building your own immune system and your resilience basically to be able to handle, whatever. And obviously I think both things are important and you have to balance both. But being in the Pacific Northwest, I'm just like, I'm going to be exposed to mold. I just know I am. And so let's try to build up our defenses as best as possible. Oh, Miriam is here. Hello. I hope your desks are organized and nice now. Miriam is here too? Yeah, she's pretty great, Chris. You should maybe ask her out. I heard you guys both live in Utah. Um Sing It says, how does farm life go? Slow in the winter or just different/equal amounts of work in the winter and summer? It is definitely different, but I mean, animals always have to be fed, so that doesn't change. Um, yeah, it's mostly just keeping the animals fed and watered, and, we put our rooster in his own run with his little harem, so maybe we'll get chicks, but he, escaped several times, and so that was exciting, trying to chase him down, get him back and figure out how he was getting out, all that. So that's been fun. But with the greenhouse getting built this spring, like we've gotten the floor done, and so Jeff's going to put the finishing stuff on it, um, hopefully by the spring. So once that is usable, I'm sure it will get very busy with all of that, which will be fun. Really looking forward to nice weather, sunshine, plants growing, all of that stuff. Be wonderful. Although we're getting hit with winter. Not a lot of snow, but it could snow. Last night there was snow falling, but it didn't amount to anything. But we are finally having our share of winter. Let's see. Yeah. Jeff drives by houses and can point mold, mold, clean, mold, clean. Yeah. So I have said many times that Jeff is a construction psychic, something like that. And he shocks people when he goes to do like bids at their house. He'll be like, "So this house is, 1945, right? This house is like he knows everything about it just by looking at different little features. And so yeah, with the mold and stuff, he just knows. He just has this sixth sense about it. Okay. Sing It is asking, have the stray cows stopped visiting now that it's winter? Yes, thankfully they have. I think their biggest motivation for coming to our place was water in the hot summertime. And now that the rains have come, they have not been visiting, thankfully. So at least there's that. We'll see if they come back when the weather changes again. All right. Oh, Ron's Keto Cafe is here. Hello. Oops. There it is. Hello, Ron. Good morning. All right. I am going to go ahead and hop off of here a little early. I didn't have Lindsay to help me talk this time. So thanks everybody for hanging out for this solo live stream today. Hopefully Lindsay will be back next week same time, same place. And you guys just have